Geelong, Brisbane, MCG, 12:30 our time tomorrow. Stanley's in for Stewart, goes out with concussion. Lockie Neal in for Jared Berry, goes out with a shoulder. We do think the subs will be Jai Clark and Bruce Reville. Is that a fair...
Yeah, absolutely. I've got them penned down as well. Everybody talks about Lockie Neal, but what about the risk with Reece Stanley too, coming back from his hamstring at his age? Nobody's mentioning that right now.
All righty. What's has the storyline purely been the injuries, or are there other underlying storylines inside these two teams?
Oh, I think there's some big ones at play. Like if Lockie Neal was to get up and play really well, imagine if he won the Norm Smith, what that does to his legacy as a player. And the other one is Patrick Dangerfield. For him to be a premiership captain with everything that he's done in his game, both are going to be Hall of Famers, both probably Hall of Fame legends. But I think there's a legacy piece here for both players that could dictate the big storyline.
Something I want to ask you is, there's some enigmas in this team. There's some enigmatic type players that you get so much out of, but when they go missing, it's a gaping hole. Let's go Geelong. Let's go Jack Martin, Tyson Stengel, Sean Manor. So there's three. That if two of those three don't play good games, that's a big chunk of their best footy missing. Brisbane, Rayner, he has quiet quarters, we know. Bailey and Lohman. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Absolutely, but I think it's more the Brisbane ones. I think they have to play well. I think those other guys with Geelong, they are just more of a team, Geelong. They don't rely on those role players to have big games. Like Jack Martin's not expected to do much. Tyson Stengel hasn't had the best year this year. I think Sean Mannor's an absolute beauty. So you'd want at least one to start, but I just get the feeling that for Brisbane to win, they need, especially Cam Rayner. He's probably the most important player. He's going to get the run with role with Sullivan going to him, not Sullivan, O'Connor.
Yep.
He's going to be the big one that's going to put some pressure on him.
He can expose O'Connor, though.
He can, but it depends what you do as a coach. Do you put him back out of the play, put him to full forward, which is what we saw in the last game, and he was good and he won a few of those free kicks. But then we saw him at his best in some of the other finals in the midfield, exposed all around the ball, making it easy to beat those sort of players. What
happens if Brisbane say, okay, you're going to go and tag two or three of us, right? So O'Connor, Mullen, and the third tag at Atkins, we're all going to go into the middle. So we're going to have three taggers in the middle, plus Reece Stanley rucking. You could expose Geelong very quickly.
You can, but it seems to work for them. And this is the thing about Geelong that's uncertain. You don't know where every player is going to start. And it makes it really difficult to scout the Cats. Like, you tell me where Holmes is going to line up, Tim. Where's Holmes going to start? You don't know. Bailey Smith, where's he going to start?
Yeah.
He might be inside, but he also might be wing. He might be high half forward. Jeremy Cameron, is he deep or is he up on the top of
they've got some real
50.
Flexibility, haven't
Absolutely. Every player can play dual positions. Lawson Humphries, back, forward. Jack Martin, back, forward. They have so much flexibility to their game, which makes them really hard to scout. When you look at Brisbane, it's different. You know where their key players are going to start. So I think we're going to see more run-withs towards the Brisbane Lion players.
You mentioned Lawson Humphries from Wickham in the grand final. Do you know where Wickham is? I do know where Wickham is. I played against Wickham up there in the Pilbara. I played against Wickham in football up there, Johnny from High Wickham. Goss, who is the other guy to win a premiership from the Pilbara? 0487 736 736 851. Thank you, Johnny Wickham.
Do you know who the other premiership player is? I'd love to know who that is. But let's have a look at the different styles. Tim, Brisbane, we know they love to maintain possession. We saw that here at Optus Stadium. It's short kicks. It's hit the 45-degree kick. They spread the ground. They always want to keep the ball in motion, but they make their opponents chase. They do rely on their contested possession game, and I think if they win contested possession, they normally win. If they lose that against the Cats, who aren't the strongest in clearance and contested possession, I think they're in trouble. But they want to tire the opposition out by maintaining the ball. And here at Optus Stadium, when they played Fremantle, they had 143 uncontested marks. The big challenge for Brisbane, and they did it really well last time, is to keep that under 80. That's the magic number, 80. Don't allow them just to control, and then you can win the ball back. And they were able to turn it over sort of in their own front half or in the midfield, and they scored heavily from that. I think they scored 60 points from their turnovers. What Brisbane need to do is try and go deep with that. Get field position with their ball movement so that if they do turn it over, it's in their back half. And Geelong then need to move the ball from one end to the other. So I think that piece will be critical for this game. Geelong, they're going for 9 in a row, would you believe? Won their last 8. And in those last 8, they've scored over 100 every single time. So again, I'm looking at the magic number is 80. Can Brisbane keep Geelong under 80? And to do that, you've got to keep the ball off them. So I think this kick game will be used a bit more. I think they'll double down on it, make them try and chase a bit more and take a bit of the sting out of their performance when they do win it back. But they do have this unpredictable forward line. They're very unselfish. Their high half forwards are the key to it. You've got Myers, you've got Close, you've got Manor, you've got Stengel. They will get up the ground. They will cause confusion. They'll do these kicks around their body. They'll find their teammates on the way back. And the whole time they're doing it, they're just allowing their players to work back into their front half. And it's confusing for those defenders as well. And as I said before, I think it's going to be hard to sort of scout them because they have so many players that can play anywhere. Dangerfield, where's he going to start? Probably centre bounce, but no guarantee he has done that. And he hasn't played midfield all year. It's been a masterstroke to put him in at this time of the year as well. They like the corridor, the Cats, but they don't rely on their stoppage game. Sometimes they like to lose stoppage and set up from half back. So it's contrasting styles, but two that are very successful.
But they do that when they've had Stewart. That's a big out. So Stewart's your quarterback, for the want of a better terminology.
He is so important intercept marker. But you look at Brisbane, and who would have thought they'd have a 19 and a 20-year-old, the cornerstone to their front half. Like going into this year, you wouldn't have thought there was Logan Morris and it was Ty Gallup as the two. Like Joe Danaher was there, Hipwood was there for a long time. You know, we know next year they'll have some cavalry coming in, but that's unique to have a 19 and a 20-year-old as the keys to your front half game.
Yes, and Dean Cox was from Dampier, so that's a pretty obvious one. But thank you, John, from High Wycombe. So I want to play this. This was this morning. Chris Fagan, what he expects from the Cats. Does he think they'll do anything different? This is Chris Fagan, Brisbane coach, speaking to Alistair Lynch this morning on SEN Taz.
All of us coaches, if we feel like we've worked out a formula to beat another team, we tend to stick at it until it's proven that it doesn't work. But Scotty's a very experienced coach, and he might have some other tricks left up his sleeve. We'll just have to wait and see on that. It's pretty hard to predict what that might be.
Yeah.
Part of coaching is just being able to respond on match day to what happens, and obviously Huey McCluggey is much more ready for what might come today than he was a few weeks ago.
Will Ashcroft's another one. So Will Ashcroft could get tagged in a grand final. He better be ready, because if Mullen goes to him or whoever goes to him, it's on a big stage, and he was last year's Norm Smith medalist, remember. So he knows what it's like to play on the big stage, but does he know what it's like to be tagged hardcore?
Is there any chance that Chris Scott throws something different tagging-wise? Like, we all expect Mullins to go to McCluggage, did a terrific job in that game, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes different. It might be Atkins that plays on him, but you're right. I've got Ashcroft and Atkins going head-to-head. Atkins is terrific, big tackler. We saw that with a game where he nearly got 20 tackles. But Zach Bailey is the other one that he could go to. But I think for Brisbane, the fact that Bailey goes through half forward pocket and in the midfield, it makes it harder to sort of scout those sort of guys. Dangerfield and Dunkley, that one looks like it's going to be key through the midfield, two big bodies. Dangerfield now is somebody that you need to watch off the back of his preliminary final effort where he kicked the 3 goals. Connor O'Sullivan, sorry, I've got that one wrong again. What's his name, the Irishman?
Mark O'Connor.
Mark O'Connor. So Mark O'Connor will go to Cam Rayner. We spoke about that one. Shannon Neal will do the job on Harris Andrews. You got Jeremy Cameron.
What do you say? What do you mean by that? We'll do the job on him.
Well, you've got to go to him or to try and do the job. Not easy, and a few times this year he's failed in that. But he's the one that won't even give him too much credit.
So it's a negative forward role.
Yeah. Got to get the ball to ground. Got to make sure he doesn't mark the ball and kickstart.
Doesn't that make it easy for Brisbane, though? If all of a sudden they say, okay, our key forward now becomes only Jeremy Cameron because Shannon Neal's not worried about kicking the goals. He's worried about.
There's an art to it. You've got to be smart of when to go. But if you're dumb in that role, you'll get hurt. If you lead up and you know Harris Andrews has just dropped off you, then you're going to get hurt. Now, that's where it's on Geelong to spot up, to make sure if he does drop off, you go through Shannon Neal. So there'll be a battle going on within the battle with those players. Dane Zorko, so important. He may go to somebody like Sean Manor or Brian Myers, and I think Brian Myers has a big say. I love what he does. He's the one that's now become a 25-possession player from half forward. They go through him all the time, and his sideways kicks are so effective. Wilmot, important player. So, again, you can't just let him do what he wants to do at half back. Dempsey and Fletcher on the wing, that's going to be a great matchup. We know both like to get forward, particularly Dempsey, and become a goal kicker from the fat side. And then it looks like Jack Henry will probably go to Logan Morris as well. So there's matchups abound. They're everywhere, and that's what you get in grand finals with teams that have played each other regularly.
Should we not underestimate grand final debutants? So Brisbane have got Sam Marshall, Levi Ashcroft, Ty Gallup, Bruce Reville. Listen to Geelong's grand final debutants. O'Sullivan, Mullen, Holmes, Dempsey, Manor, Neal, Humphreys, Martin, Bowes, Clark. They're going onto a big stage. There's 10 cats going onto a big stage. It's all very well to say we play with the best team and we've got all this Dangerfield around us and Cameron around us and all this experience around us. It's still a big stage for 10 players to be walking into their first grand final.
Is it any bigger than what they've just been through? I know the build-up, but they've just been at the MCG the last 2 weeks.
It's a grand final, Hase. It's yes, it's not. The crowd's going to be the same. And I know Simo will probably be the one that says it becomes just another game 10 minutes in once all the stuff, all the fluff gets all pushed aside. It's still a big stage to. I want to be nice, not to choke on the big stage. And there's 10 blokes who have got this focus on them.
Again, looking at those players for Geelong, role players. Just do your role, know your role, and I don't think they'll go away from that. The couple that get off the chain, I think, are Smith and Holmes. I just don't see a match-up for them. They'll play on the outside, so they could be dangerous for the medal. I like Zach Bailey. If Brisbane do win, I think he's the one that can do the damage through the midfield because I don't think he'll get too much attention, and Brian Myers is the other one as well. We talk a lot about Brisbane and their father-sons and why they've been able to build this list. But Geelong, when you look at their list build, it's brilliant recruiting. I'm going to name a few players that were late picks, rookie list picks. Tom Atkins, Mullen, Mark O'Connor, Brad Close, Brian Myers, Jack Martin, Sean Manor, Tyson Stengel, Zach Guthrie, Ollie Dempsey, Lawson Humphreys, Jack Henry. You want to know why they stay at the top? It's because they nail these outside picks. They absolutely nail them.
Outside pick 40, I think it is. Isn't that right?
It is extraordinary. They outside pick 50, most of these players, and a lot of rookie list selections.
All right, don't hold your tip on your Norm Smith. We'll do that right at the end of the show. Just give me your absolutely overarching opinion with 1 minute of how you think this grand final is going to be played out and who you're leaning to without giving me your tip and your Norm Smith meal.
I think Brisbane are going to double down on their style. I think they'll try and maintain possession. They'll try and keep the ball moving, and they'll use all of the ground to do that. Geelong, they will try to turn that ball over very quickly. The quicker they can do that, the quicker they get it back into their forward line with so many gun players in there, unselfish forward types. I think they'll be successful in that. They'll be switched on, and I think not the arrogance but the ego of Brisbane will want them to double down, and that will come undone at some point in time. So I am favouring, without giving too much away, the Cats to do it again on the back of what they did 3 weeks ago.
Great analysis, as always, by Paul Hasleby this year. He is the best analyst in the business for Greenworks, Australia's ultimate powered garden brand.